Kobe Bryant, one of the 5 who has died in that helicopter crash in California. And Sherm, you're going to talk exclusively about Kobe Bryant on our pregame show today. And I'm at a loss for words, even though it's my job to come up with words. As a guy who grew up a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, as a basketball fan in general, I think I'm shook personally, let alone the rest of the basketball world right now is trying to make sense of all of this.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation when you're trying to figure out how this works, how this moves forward, and someone like Kobe Bryant, something like this happening at this time, you know, there's a personal impact, there's a basketball impact, there's a global impact, but the man himself, his family, what transpired today changes so many things for a lot of people. And people like us that cover this sport and have covered Kobe Bryant, it hurts a lot. And a lot of people are hurting right now.
There's no denying as well for a lot of Raptor fans, the first thing that comes to mind, outside of being a 5-time champion and a 2-time finals MVP and an MVP and 20 years with the Lakers, all the accolades, list the resume off. The 81-point performance, first and foremost for a lot of Raptor fans, obviously in a bit of a negative way because he did it to your team, but for me, as a broadcaster, I've been covering the NBA, covering the Raptors for over 20 years, 15 years as a broadcaster though, and my first season with Paul Jones, who we're going to hear from in just a couple of moments, my first year was that year in which Kobe went off for 81. And to sit courtside and to watch one of the all-time great performances in the history of the league is a memory that I know that I will have for the rest of time.
Oh, no question about it. I was in studio calling that game, and the same thing, to see that happen was phenomenal. And years later, having a chance to talk to Kobe about it, and I asked him, you know, was there anything the Raptors could have done to change that outcome? And Kobe said nothing. He said, I'm 6'7", I'm athletic, they couldn't have done anything, and that confidence just showed you why he was the killer he was. But Kobe Bryant, to me, beyond the basketball court, we're talking about a guy who has children that are young. You know, he was big in his daughter's lives in terms of their basketball and whatever sport they're involved in. He was a father. He was a man, and now we're realizing, now the situation happens that it's bigger than this game. It's life. It's how we manage things, how we deal with things on a day-to-day basis. And this loss, as I said earlier, is a very big loss.
All right, for more on this story and his thoughts, both professionally and personally, we head over now to our colleague, Paul Jones.
All right, Eric, I guess the thing that first word that comes to mind is devastation. I stand here, like you, like Sherm, like Matt, like Leo, and all of our colleagues and the people in this arena, almost numb. We were standing in the back with Nick Nurse when the news broke, and it was unconfirmed and unsubstantiated at the time, but it has come to light that it is true. And Eric, you referenced that game that night. You and I sat there, watched every one of those 81 points. I called every one of those baskets. And Sherm, you talked about the night that you talked to him. We were in Los Angeles for a preseason game, and our man sitting in the producer chair right now, David Leader, was there, and we summoned him from the back room so we could all talk about that historic night. And to me, I guess it just brings to mind how fragile life can be, how quickly you can be in one spot and it be taken from you. And the fact that he's gone, and he's not only gone as a basketball player to all of us that love him and watched him and covered him, but he's gone to those family members as well. And all the people that knew him growing up, knew him as a family man. He's lost to all of us in that sense. And it has its impact here in the arena as well. Both locker rooms immediately were shut down. We could not get into them to actually talk to the players because it was unconfirmed at the time when we were thinking about going to air with it. Everybody was waiting. I just talked to Chip Engelland, the shooting coach for the San Antonio Spurs. We were leaning against the stanchion down at the other end, and I looked at him and I shook my head and he shook his head, and then 2 words came out of his mouth, DeMar DeRozan. Kobe was DeMar's mentor. The shoes he wears every game are for Kobe. They spend time together in the summer. Toronto's own Norm Powell was at the camp this summer with Kobe. This is just a devastating loss for all of us in the sports world, in the basketball world, in so many ways, in so many areas. It's tough to explain, but it is what life has become now. You just can't take things for granted. You live every day, you enjoy every day, and we just hope that the people that were with Kobe Bryant before this devastating event happened today, were able to speak to him, and they were able to share their love with him, because it can be taken from you so quickly. In the media room just minutes ago, some media relations people were talking about whether we were actually going to have a game today, because there's a game that's supposed to go ahead at 2:30, and I guess we're waiting to take our cue from that. We stand here today like everybody else, just numb with what has happened. Eric?
Thanks very much, Jonesy. And Sherm, as I said off the top, and Jonesy put it so well as well, again, we're finding out details, as all of you are right now, so we're going through this with all of the Raptor fans, all the NBA fans, sports fans, as it happens in real time. When you think about how poetic, how prophetic some of these words are as well, when you look back to just last night now as well, Sherm, LeBron James on the floor with the Lakers playing against the Philadelphia 76ers. He passes Kobe Bryant for third on the NBA's all-time scoring list. And Kobe Bryant, this is the last tweet that he sent out, continuing to move the game forward, King James. Much respect to my brother. And obviously the hashtag with the scoring total, with now LeBron again passing Kobe for third on the all-time list. Those, in a sense, the last words, at least publicly, via Twitter from Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it was a great moment. Kobe Bryant showed respect to LeBron James, who's passing his unbelievable accomplishment. And LeBron James, obviously going to be one of the greatest players to ever play this game when it's all said and done. But a guy like Kobe understands what it takes to get to that level. Greatness respects greatness, and Kobe Bryant had no problem looking at guys who came up after him and saying, "You're great. You deserve to be recognized." And that's a kind of respect and admiration. And the way that Kobe approaches the game of basketball. If you're going to do it, you're going to work hard, you're going to bring it every night, I'm going to respect you. And that's something that is a life lesson beyond the basketball court.
Yeah, he had a similar post on Instagram as well, with a picture of him sharing a moment, a laugh, a brotherhood moment with LeBron James as well. And all that we've heard from Kobe Bryant over the last number of months since his retirement essentially was how much he just wanted to invest himself, not just in the game and in other players like LeBron James, but more so into his family, into his daughters, into his oldest daughter specifically, and wanting to coach her and help guide her path into basketball as well. And you just think about the family moments that are now gone for him, and how much he cherished now having that post-life, that post-playing life, to have this next step in his life as just a dad.
Well, you're right. I think situations like this always force us to kind of take stock of ourselves, take stock of our life, where we are, what we're doing, what's important, what do we value every moment, because those things can be taken for granted. And Kobe was locked in, as you said, doing the things that you want to do for your kids, you want to help your family, you want to be around, and all of those things, and it gets cut short. All of his accomplishments and what he did on the basketball court will never be taken away, but the time that to have with his family, that's gone. And those are the things that, life trumps everything. And when things like that happen, we as a society have to understand what it takes to be who we are on this planet, and what we need to not sacrifice to make sure that we take care of the people that we care about.
For more on this tragic news, we go over to our colleagues Matt Devlin and Leo Revens. Guys?
All right, Eric and Leo, where do you begin? Like so many others, shocked, saddened with the news. There's a surreal feeling here in San Antonio in seeing the faces of Alex McKechnie, who spent 11 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers. You can tell he's heartbroken. I think the entire basketball community feels that way, just 41 years of age.
Yeah, taken far too soon. The last image I have of Kobe is sitting with his daughter watching a Laker game. And I just feel so horrible for his family, his young children. And just, these things flash through your head. I remember playing in Italy against his dad, Joe, and little Kobe just running around the arena playing pinball and just hanging out. And it's hard to believe that, this little guy, the career he had, the life he had, the legacy he's left, and now just gone. Unbelievable.
No, it certainly is, and you have to be careful during times like this. There are a lot of different reports that are swirling around about who was on the plane and who wasn't on the plane, or the helicopter, I should say. So before you go into great detail like that, you want to wait for the confirmation who was on the helicopter, and here we are in this environment where there's 22 minutes before the start of this game. Houston and Denver was supposed to start at 2:30 Eastern time. The last time I checked on my phone, that game had yet to start. There are obviously a lot of relationships here in San Antonio and with the Toronto Raptors, both organizations with Kobe Bryant. I was just speaking with somebody with the San Antonio Spurs, and you can imagine what they were feeling like in the moment and talking about what Eric was talking about earlier, about his wife, his 4 daughters, and then also just the things to come that clearly he unfortunately is going to miss, and we're all going to miss seeing Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and just think, when you mentioned these two teams, I mean, you know, DeMar DeRozan, Kobe was a mentor to DeMar. And how many guys has Kobe worked, you know, in the summer now, taking guys and helping guys? I mean, he's had an impact on, you talked to LeBron last night after passing Kobe, ironically. He talked about Kobe's impact and the impression that he had on his life and his career. So you're going to hear that more and more. I mean, Kobe was one of those generational players coming out of high school, Lower Merion, Pennsylvania. Just an incredible life, an incredible legacy. And as you, Matt, it's hard to believe we're talking about this right now. You said it's surreal. It doesn't seem, it's hard for me to actually say these things. It's hard to believe it's happening.
Both number 8 as well as number 24 retired by the Los Angeles Lakers. Brent Barry, who's an executive with the San Antonio Spurs. You can see, I was speaking with Brent earlier, just devastated with the news. He and I were talking, and he has a home in Los Angeles, spends a lot of time there. And just as he said, you know, bringing my kids into the locker room to talk to Kobe and just how gracious he was with his time in those situations.
Oh yeah, I've been in those same situations with my kids where they said, "Hey Kobe, talk a little Italian with me." Love to speak Italian, obviously. And you know, you meet your kids, shake hands. He was always that type of guy. And again, I just feel so bad when you know, I don't know his immediate family, but you know, the visions of the time we spent together. And it wasn't this what it's all about, right? You retire, you've made this incredible life for yourself and your family, and now you enjoy your family. You're coaching your kids' team, you're with your daughters, you're bringing them to games, and you're helping a lot of young players around the league outside of your family. So living the life that you work for and you want and making an impact, and
Gone too soon. 41 years of age, as we send it back to Eric Smith.
All right, thanks very much, Matt. And again, we're